What is going on, YouTube? How's it going? Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I'm taking off my sunglasses because it turns out that it's about to rain and I left some stuff outside today. Nice. Anyways, I am heading to Harbor Freight right now. If you see about 2 videos ago, I think it was 2 videos ago, when I finished porting the cylinder head for the Integra, I mentioned in the top left corner on the front, which would be the exhaust side, I started taking away the casting marks with these little sanding bits. The stock head is all cast like this. I started grinding it down on this side. Ricky thinks I'm an idiot for doing it. And I asked your guys' opinion on if I should keep on doing it to the rest of the head, or at least the part that would be facing the front of the car. So like whatever you would see when you came up to the engine bay. A couple of you guys said not to waste my time on it. A couple others said that it would look amazing, it would look different, which is exactly why I started doing it, because I wanted to do something different. So with that being said, I ended up doing it to the whole front of the head. So it took about an hour and a half. I didn't really have anything pertaining or anything really pressing to do this morning, so I figured with the extra time I could do that. So I ended up doing that, and then after that I sanded it down with some 500 grit sandpaper, which I'll show the picture right here. Then once I got everything nice and smooth there, I ended up going to 1,000 grit, and I took a picture of that right here. And once that was done, I realized I didn't have 1,500 or 2,000, which I'm not 100% sure if I really need it before going to the polishing compound, because I've polished things like clear coats before or paint, and I did aluminum valve cover like 4 years ago or something, which if I find the picture, I'll put right here. And I'm pretty sure that on that one I went up to 2,000, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, without further ado, I'm heading to Harbor Freight right now. I'm gonna grab a little bit more sandpaper, and from that point forward, I think they have these little polishing bits with different grades of compound. So I'm gonna see if I can get those and see, you know, if it clears it up and makes it nice after that. That would be awesome. If it doesn't, well, then that serves as a don't do it at home type thing. But I've seen like one block in the past that's been polished, and there was this other guy who polished a complete long block and everything on the engine. I think it was like Ken's Polishing or something. I'm pretty sure it was a single cam. Don't hold me to it, you know, I'm not 100% sure, but it's not commonly seen. There's been a few people who powder coat their engines or transmissions. There's many and many people who paint them. Like, that's something that I used to always do. But for this one, I really didn't want to paint it. I just wanted to have that raw look for the block, and for the head, do the polished look. So, you know, without further ado, I am pulling up to Harbor Freight right now, and I'll get what I need, and we'll continue the polishing. Yep. So I'm in all the polishing section, I guess you could call it. And there's this 14-piece aluminum polishing kit. It comes with 3 different types of, what is it, like a compound or something? Like a polishing compound. And then it comes with a whole bunch of different style bits. I think I'm mainly gonna use this one right here. That way I can get like a large surface area. And then I can use like these pointed ones for like the crevices and whatnot. And then if this one breaks or anything, I can move over to those right there. Worst case scenario, this is with, I think 1/8 shank. This one right here uses a 1/4 inch, which is a little beefier, obviously. Worst case scenario, if these end up not working, then I can come back and grab one of those and then just get one of the bigger polishing compounds. But I think this one should be pretty good. And then I just need some of the sandpaper from the back. I'm gonna go get a sheet. I might do like 1,500 and 2,000, or maybe just even like 1,500 and see how that works. Check out the drip. Check out the drip. The new La Fea burnout shirt came out fire. I got set this right there. Let me show you the back. Hashtag send the papi. All right, so I'm having trouble finding the sandpaper right now. It's actually right next to where I was. All right, so I guess the biggest they have, or the highest in grit at the moment, is me dropping stuff. It's 1,200. So I guess we'll just make do with this. 1,200's worked out for polishing in the past for me, so excuse me. And after that, good old polishing bits. See how it comes out. Back home, this is the current state of the head. This is after the 1,000 grit sanding. As you can see, there's obviously some dips and whatnot, imperfections. I tried shaving as best as I could right here, like the little codes and whatnot, the HM, the year stamp, the P72. There's some other stuff at the bottom that I got rid of. But if you look for it, like with the shine and whatnot, I think it came out pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna start sanding with a 1200 grit and put it on the time lapse and show you guys how it goes from there. Alright, so I have pretty much touched base on most of the parts of the front. If you see, like, the side still it's not shaved or anything. This side is still cast, same as the intake side. This is the only part that you're really going to see on the engine. The other side will have the cam gears and whatnot. Over here I'll have the trigger piece for the cam sensor to do coil unplug, since I'm doing AEM. The main important part is the front. So I'm pretty much done with this portion. Once it gets up to like 1,000 and higher, it's really hard to like kind of see the not microscopic, but the small lines that are done every single time you sand. Like if you're sanding with like 80 grit, you'll see the big scoring. With higher grit sandpaper like this, it gets kind of harder to notice. And in my personal instances, it makes me lazy. It makes me very lazy. Like if I were to probably take as much time into the 1200 grit as I did with the 500 grit, I'd probably get a much better finish. But I am extremely lazy. So I settle for this, which isn't bad, but it's probably not the best that it could be. So if it needs it, then we'll go over it again. But right now, I think I'm gonna go over to the polishing stuff. Now, like I said, I think that this is an 1/8 inch shank. So I have the adapter to make this grinding thing into an 1/8 inch shank holder, or whatever you want to call it. Got a little piece of tape. Oh no, it's 1/4 inch. So this is exactly like mine. So I already had this laying around. It's not like I bought it or anything, but this should work perfectly. This is the big one that I told you earlier that I was probably going to use. Looks like it can work perfectly right there. Just clean up all the big stuff. And then with the smaller, sharper bits, I can go into like the little crevices right here. And it's got plenty of polishing compound. I think black is to take out big scoring, and then brown is like medium, and white is the best. It's like the finest. So I think I'm just gonna start doing the white over here. And you know, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, since on the porting and polishing video I mentioned that the smoother the port on the exhaust side, the better, I could probably end up using some of these smaller bits and going over part of the exhaust porting as well. But right now our main focus is on the outside right here. So I'm going to set up the pieces and start doing that. I'm just gonna put this on right there. Obviously I'm wearing my eye protection. Just gotta open up this first one. I'll just do it with this little bit. I'm too lazy to get up and get my knife. I'm just gonna give it a little hit right there. And that lets off a lot of wool. Or a lot of material comes off, whatever. Let's try it out. Look at the difference right there. A few seconds of polishing. There's not really any residue, so that's probably as polished as it can get using just the compound. You see all the dirt and debris and whatnot built up right there. Look at that. That looks pretty freaking good. I'm gonna go over that little section right there with some mother's polishing right now, just to see if I can get an improvement on it. And if I can, then I'll do the rest with this. And I can also do a side-by-side with the polish, the mother's polish, on a part that hasn't been polished by the wheel, and see if that helps at all. Let me just put the camera down again. Just a little closer. Right there. I think I gave it a little bit of a deeper polish, nothing crazy. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do with the wheel all across the head, and then worst case scenario at the end, I can go over some pieces with the mother's polishing. I think this just kind of gives it like a final finish when this is more of like a final cut.
Oh baby, I wanted you to be inside my arms, but the night goes down. Oh baby, I wanted you to be.
Sorry for the compressor noise, but I just wanted to stop real quick. This center portion is coming out awesome. This right here, you can tell like the waves from where the little dimples were before. It is all super smooth though. This center portion, like I said, is the best in the reflectiveness right now. Then right here, and then that's probably in third. I tried with this right here for the smaller bit. It was okay. It kind of polished a little dull. I feel like if I really wanted to dedicate a couple hours, I would go with that first and then switch over to the white. But I feel like I can kind of like power through it with the white one. And another thing I noticed, the big ones really suck when I'm using this small thing. It's probably because I have the pressure at like 90 on a small compressor, and I probably need something like 150 psi to these little grinders just to be able to move that with the same momentum that this is moving. That's moving really fast. It's polishing with a super quick RPM, and it's doing a great job. Like I said, it's a little wavy. It's not perfect. It's not like it's a professional polish job, but look at that. That came from casting like this, which is insane. So I'm gonna let the compressor charge up a little bit more. Probably clean this off a little, or at least get the old compound residue off of here, and see if I can use some of the smaller bits to get more into the crevices, make those really shine up real good. And yeah, I will jump forward to as soon as I have this part done right there. All right, so the big reveal, still not completely done, but look at that. Almost perfect mirror, not perfect, but nearly mirror finish. You can look, you can see the gloves. I don't know if you can see the Integra. Oh, you can see the Integra on it. Look at that. That's not a painted cylinder head, that's for sure. Woo. Total in labor, it took me about, I don't know, 2.5 hours. And about $35 in supplies, probably. I think it looks pretty awesome. Obviously, this is getting sent to the machine shop. I just got it to like a regular finish right now. After it's out of the machine shop, I'm sure it's gonna get hot tanked and worked on, so it's gonna dull up. So I'm not gonna do a crazy finish right now because then it's gonna dull anyway. Once I get it back from the machine shop in like a month or so, after I ship it out and whatnot, then I'll be able to go really in depth and get like that mirror finish like my valve cover was back in the day. Right now I'm just gonna do a little bit on the runners. Like I just touched it real quick right there, and it shined it up just a tad. And you can feel with your fingers like the smoothness is a lot smoother where I just touched it with the polishing bit. So I'm just gonna do that for a little bit, see if I can clean up a bit, and then show you a runner polished and a runner only ported and sanded. Ported and sanded. This is ported and polished. You can see the reflection a little bit. You can kind of pick up the color of the reflection. It's a lot deeper. Obviously, this is just with like 30 seconds worth of this little bit. I don't like doing it too much because this one doesn't come out as our sanding bits did. Our sanding bits came out about this far. This one is super close to the rest of the tool, so I don't want it scoring up any of the metal by accident. So I think I'll just do like the entrances and the bowl a little bit. Took 30 seconds to do that one. I might as well do the others. But it's nothing crazy beneficial. In my personal opinion, I think it just smooths out the air a little bit. Might be almost not noticeable. But yeah, I'll just do that on these. And then I should be done with the polishing of it. I ended up doing one little portion more with the Mother's Lumina polish. And what I really did, I kind of really put some elbow grease into it. And it's not really noticeable on camera when I just check, but in person you can really tell the difference. Right here is where I did it with the Mother's polish after having used the polishing compound and bits and everything. This is right before, and I wonder if you can pick it up. That's like a really deep shine. This one is a little more dull. You can really tell the difference like when you do the finger reflection on the glove. It's so hard to tell on the camera, but in person this one is a little bit deeper of a shine, and you can kind of feel like if it almost adds a layer of like a reflective layer, almost like a ceramic coat does, that you can feel the difference in smooth and almost like a repelling type of smooth, which I think is pretty cool. But like I said, this is going off to the machine shop soon, so once it's actually washed and everything, it's going to take the dull away, or it's going to make it a little dull. So I'll use all that Mother's polishing towards the end once I'm assembling the engine and I have everything ready set to go. As for the exhaust ports, like I said, I was just going to polish them up real quick. This is just a couple seconds of polishing compound onto that grinder right there. It helped out a little bit, but like I said, I don't think it's going to do really much of a noticing difference aside from the fact of just looking a little nicer and perhaps having a little bit more of a smoother surface. But as for the head itself, I think it came out great for what it is. Really reminds me of when I first started building my first motor, or one of my first motors. Like I showed that picture earlier, I had that polished reflective valve cover. Obviously the valve cover, the only raised areas was like the Honda and double overhead VTEC, which I think I actually kept on there, but everything else was pretty much smooth from the factory, so I didn't have like these little circles and whatnot that I ended up having to grind down right here. So it was super smooth and the reflection was amazing. But yeah, that's pretty much its final look for the time being. Like I said, once it's on the car, then we'll be able to do some real deep polishing and make it super nice. But we got all the cast stuff out, and I'm sorry, I'm just rubbing my fingers over it. The smoothness of it is insane. It's really cool. It took about, like I said, what, 2 or 3 hours and like $35 worth of material. I think it's totally worth it. But that does pretty much sum up the video for today. I have a whole bunch of polishing compound all over my face, so I'm going to go inside and take a shower right now. But yeah, it does sum up the video for today. Make sure to leave a comment in the section below because I really want to see what you guys think about the polishing. Now you know that you can do it at home with some simple tools, just like a little grinder, an air compressor, if you have access. If not, you could probably do it with an electric air grinder, but it'll take a little bit longer since the RPMs aren't normally as high on them. But yeah, now you know how to do it. Just polishing compound after using the sanding bits and some sandpaper. It's pretty simple, and that goes for most aluminum stuff. Steel is a little bit harder because it's not as soft of a metal, but yeah, it's pretty much a simple process to do. Yeah, I am wearing my Integra shirt right now. I probably shouldn't because it's a nice shirt in my opinion, and I'm obviously getting dirty, but I actually already washed this like 4 times, and I think it's a pretty good work shirt and still good to go out to car meets and whatnot. If you guys want to check out the shirt, go to thesptuning.com. I always leave my link down in the description below for the merchandise, which is the shirts and the stickers. Make sure to check it out. And yeah, that pretty much does sum up the video. I think I've said it like 6 times already, but Thanks for watching. Like I said, leave a comment, hit the like button, and if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe and notification bell. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.